So we're gonna touch up on one little subject matter. It really makes more sense that you see the problem, and the cops aren't really that bright. So yeah, man, big time wake up call here. So I caught the pattern. I went to go check in on it, and then next thing you know, I'm getting called over to the woods edge. Right. Fully aware that it's not a dog. I drove around and made sure I knew where the sound was coming from. And it turned out it was probably that grizzly bear. And the birds were telling me what was going on. And I know that dog isn't acquainted with the birds quite yet, maybe. So usually the bears are more acquainted with the birds than the dogs are. And usually the wolves and coyotes, the ones that actually do get big and actually look healthy, are very acquainted with the birds, but you see the purpose. Fully knowing what was going on there, I was listening to the birds and kind of got, they got their point across. The bear's a little crazy, so yeah, they definitely let me know that that was what was going on with him. Kind of like a private, hey, bro, like this is what's kind of going on here, and this is what's happening here. So, yeah. I drove around and got out of the car, safe distance away from the bush, obviously. Listened to the little popping noise that he made, asking for food. And I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry, I can't do that. Respectfully, because, it's just one of those things where, you don't disrespect wildlife, especially when people do stupid things. And I'm assuming the police are actually feeding the dog on the spot, assuming it's the dog the whole time. So you can fool an officer all you want. You aren't fooling me. I know exactly what's behind bush number one and two. Once I narrowed down his little hiding spot, I knew what the fuck he was doing back there. Yeah, I couldn't see what was going on. And it's not a bright idea to feed your dog without seeing your dog, especially when it's basically like a hostage situation because the bear's always going to suck up to your dog and ask for food. Not a good idea. Never a good idea to do that. Like, if you're going to do things like that, you need to call your dog back and, leave him there for as long as you need to and then pull him out and not do anything too stupid because feeding the dog on the spot is not a great idea. You can't be there for that long. Like, you gotta, know when evac time is, you know, when it's time, it's time. Like, that's what you gotta understand because, you don't want your dog becoming fucking, the next meal here. So, just quick heads up. Quick heads up. Bears are very bright animals, but the only reason why I knew it was a bear was because it used a different bark. A bigger dog, not like a chihuahua. Alrighty, enough of that.